Hey Mama! Firstly, I just want to thank you for taking the time out to watch this video. I know as mums we're extremely time poor, our time is very precious, so I'm going to be as brief as I can be. This talk is going to take approximately 15 minutes, and at the end I'm going to reveal where to start if getting a lean and healthy body that bursts with energy is your goal, so make sure you do stick around for the whole video. Let me take you back to one of the most desperate times in my life as a mum. I had no answers. I felt so totally out of control. And this was a point in my life that radically changed the way that I coached my mamas. So it was Father's Day 2017 and we were about to go out for coffee. I looked at Pete, my partner, and I just said to him, I can't go in, I'm sorry. We were at the front of the cafe at the time and in the car, and all I could do was put my sunglasses on, recline the seat and go to sleep at 9:30 in the morning. And this was so hard for me because I'm very much involved in my family's life and I don't like to miss out on anything. So it was truly a desperate time of my life. So my body ached, I was heavy, and I could hardly move. My brain felt like it was pulsating out of my head. I was popping Panadol and Nurofen every 2 to 3 hours just to get by. So the rest of that day was actually spent in a bulk bill doctor surgery. I'd been ignoring these symptoms for a while, but it had all come to a head. And thankfully that day at the doctor surgery, a little Chinese lady doctor, she came out of her office. She took one look at me, she pointed and brought me in, cut me in front of everybody else in line. She ran me straight to pathology, ran everything. When the results came back, she told me I was chronically fatigued and I was severely anemic. That's when those words no mama wants to hear came to me. Complete bed rest. If I don't stop doing everything that I'm doing right now, I'm going to get really, really sick and it's going to get really, really worse. This to me, I couldn't even imagine, like taking time off from motherhood, from my business, from running a family. Like I couldn't just put my life on pause. My kids needed me, Pete needed me. We ran a business together, so my clients also needed me. I was sent home with a referral to the hospital the next day for an iron infusion. And if I still wasn't taking this seriously enough, that night made me more scared than I'd ever been. And it's still to this day, it's a position that I never want to be in again. Despite all the Nurofen and the Panadol, my 40-degree temperatures were uncontrollable. My body started convulsing and my glands had swollen up so much that I could hardly breathe. So here I was, this so-called health expert, suffering from, in my mind, what I shouldn't have been suffering from. I ate extremely healthy. I never dieted before in my life. I had an extremely healthy relationship with food. I ate more iron than the minimum recommendation amongst a really well-balanced lifestyle. Even the exercise that I loved so much, which normally made me feel on top of the world, was starting to break my body down instead. The rest of the talk, I'm going to share with you some of the common areas mums get it wrong in terms of trying to get a lean and healthy body that bursts with energy. Then at the end, I'm going to tell you one thing you must have in place before you start working on the exercise and the nutrition part. And if you do ignore this one thing like I did, you will end up running yourself into the ground, a forever battle with fatigue and never achieving the body that you truly want. I don't want any other mamas who are trying their best to go through what I went through, and this is why I am here today, and this is why I coach the way I do today. If you're like most mums that I've met, you've probably fixated on an outcome when trying to get into shape in the past. So many mamas have come to me and say, if only I could just lose 10 kilos, or if I could just get these last 5 kilos off, my life would be so much better. The problem with fixating on an outcome though is that you will launch into an unsustainable plan, like trying to exercise every day just to get that weight off as quickly as you can. Then you may or may not reach your goal, but at some point you'll get tired, your baby's teething, or your 4-year-old is having nightmares. You'll get run down, you'll catch whatever sickness your kids have picked up from school or daycare, and that good intention of exercising every day slips away because it's just unrealistic for us mamas. So that's when the cycle begins again. Your family gets back on track and you launch back into the unsustainable routine again. But this time you'll start researching on Instagram, Google, or chatting with your other mum friends about what they're doing to eat healthy and what they're doing to lose the weight, only to feel overwhelmed with all the conflicting information, think it's all too hard, and just go back to starving yourself throughout the day because mum life is so busy. You're snacking on your kids' food and gorging on food late at night when they've all gone to bed. In the next few minutes, I'm going to tell you where most mums fail. You've probably done one or more of these things in the past. I know I have. Your success will rely on avoiding these common mistakes, and by the end of the video, you will know exactly what to avoid, and you will have one clear path towards having a lean and healthy body and a routine that will be easy to keep. The first reason why mums fail to keep a lean and healthy body is that they use exercise as a trade-off. How many times have you finished a great workout at the gym only to pull in through the drive-through on the way home because you're so focused on getting that workout in, plus running around after the kids, and you've had nothing prepared and you're just too tired to cook? Or on the flip side, you've had a great weekend away. Maybe you've had a mum's or a girl's trip away or a family vacation and indulged in a little bit too much and feeling guilty, only to think that you have to go to the gym every day just to work it off. So despite what the machines at the gym or your Fitbit tell you, your body can only burn a maximum of 10 calories per minute. So then when you consider a healthy cafe meal with your sourdough and your dukkha and your bacon and avocado, I only use that example because that's my favorite meal at a cafe, that can pack around 750 calories alone, but we don't necessarily stop there either. We like to get the caramel lattes or the almond milk lattes, whatever it is. And unfortunately, it's actually impossible to burn that amount off, which brings me to my next reason why mums can't sustain their good intentions. They'll cut calories, they'll restrict carbs and other nutritious foods without actually replacing them. So have you ever gone on a health kick, going from highly processed foods, packaged foods, or cutting out the chocolate, the wine, to just eating chickens and salads? You know, I'll pack some chickens and salads for work because that's healthy. Only to get in for a few days or a few weeks in, and you start to feel tired, you start to feel hungry, moody, only to think that I can't keep up with this, and then go on an absolute binge because you feel so deprived. We've done that before. This approach leaves no room for sustainability, and quickly the gap between how much energy you're using and how little energy you are actually consuming, it gets too large, and so you'll start to cave in and you'll reach for the snack box, or you'll miss a couple of sessions at the gym only to find it hard to get back into that groove again. One major problem that we have been misinformed about is that if you can exercise for 20 minutes, then you should increase it to 30 minutes. And then if you can exercise for 30 minutes, then we increase it to 40 minutes. But I don't know about you, but since becoming a mum, I haven't got time for that. I haven't got time to spend hours at the gym. We've also been misinformed that those sparrow-worthy, boring chicken and salad meals, cardio bunny workouts are the key to losing stubborn fat, but it's not. It may work initially, but you can't continue to live a life feeling miserable just to look good. So there is a much better way of getting into shape in the long term. What I'm talking about here is muscle, mamas. Muscle mass matters. When you burn a little bit of, when you build a little bit of muscle in the gym, you start burning a little bit of fat than you did before. Over the time, that little bit of muscle starts to add up, and eventually what it does is it increases your metabolism, resulting in more fat burnt inside your workouts and around the clock. So imagine that, burning fat while you sleep, or burning fat while you're chilling out with your kids. The benefits of having more muscle doesn't actually stop there. Muscle does more than simply just sit on your bones. It's also a storage site for your immune system's fuel, making it an important part of fighting off infection and disease. We need that muscle mass, mamas. We need it to run around after our kids. We need it to have boundless energy and to get sick less often, because we haven't got time for that either. Mums don't get sick days. No one cares when mum's sick. Life has to carry on anyway. Unfortunately, it isn't as easy as it might seem to build muscle, despite what you've seen on Instagram or Facebook. As we get older, it actually gets harder to maintain the muscle that we do have. In fact, we lose it as we age. The average Australian woman can expect to lose 2.5 kilos of muscle every decade after the age of 30 and replace it with 5 kilos of fat every 10 years. I'm seeing this happen even earlier in women that are coming to me. So for me, when I first heard that, that was a light bulb moment. So this is why, as we are getting older and we have our babies, suddenly things don't sit where they used to be, or places aren't as tight as they used to be. So the key to a good body shaping program is to have that muscle, that building muscle, and at least maintaining it as the #1 focus. But before you go jumping into the next $19 booty shaping workout on Instagram, let me go one step further and define the difference between a good body shaping program and a great body shaping program. You see, I could write the best exercise program and diet out there for you. I could make it all up from the latest cutting edge science. I could package it all up neatly in a PDF and email it to you, or even send you the hard copy in the mail. And I could go to all that effort and I could give you a foolproof plan. But answer this next question honestly. How long would you really follow it for? Until your habits, your routines that you've learned, adopted throughout your entire life, those actions that have led you to exactly where you are today, they start to creep back in. How long would it take for that whole cycle to come back and sabotage all of your good intentions? A week? A few months maybe, if you were really motivated? A great body shaping program doesn't focus on the exercise or the nutrition. It focuses on changing your habits. This is why I don't write meal plans. I'm not concerned with what you should be eating. I'm much more concerned with what you eat on a daily basis, which has resulted in the body shape and health and energy levels that you have today. I'm interested in what your environment's like at home, at work. I need to know how you cope when you're happy, tired, sad, or stressed. When you direct your attention to the underlying reason you eat the way you do, you end up learning some profound things about yourself, and the changes you make at that level have a much better chance of sticking around for the rest of your life rather than 8 weeks, 10 weeks, 12 weeks. If you dig deep enough and you know where to look, you'll uncover limitless amounts of motivation, and eventually all the effort you feel like you're putting in will fade away. And this new way of living will become actions without thinking. You won't have to put in effort anymore because this will become part of your new normal. Unlike other coaches, I'm not going to tell you what you should eat and punish you for eating something you shouldn't have. Instead, I'm going to give you a cook Bible with more than 175 gourmet style recipes you and the family can eat together without stressing about how many calories or macros are in them. While you have fun picking out your meals together to cook together for dinner, for lunches, and your new breakfast routine, I'm going to start working with you on your sleep habits. Because whether your baby sleep now or not, mums are sleep deprived. And sleep deprivation can do some crazy shit to your body. It messes with your hormones and it causes the way your body deals with carbs to go haywire. I know this from experience. Now as mums, it's not like we can control how much sleep we get. It's not as if we can tell our 6-month-old to, hey, go back to sleep. Mama needs to sleep. Because I can't even tell my 9-year-old that. What we can control though is the quality of whatever sleep we do manage to get. Sleep affects everything, and if you don't focus on proving that first, no mindset tricks, no amount of willpower will stop you from eating that chocolate and drinking that wine in front of the TV to unwind after a big day night of motherhood. We have the hardest job in the world. This afternoon alone, my girls called out "Mum" in 7 different tones, varying volume levels, and an average rate of mum every 92 seconds. When your sleep quality improves, your mind becomes clear, your cravings subside, motivation and energy levels are higher, and your body will actually start doing good things like absorbing the nutrients you intend to eat. Truthfully, mums are in denial about their sleep and their energy levels. We act like everything is okay. We act like everything is perfect. Our babies magically sleep and that we are okay, but we're not, and that's okay. We think that we can be everything to everyone without first focusing on ourselves. So sometimes we just need somebody who can look at your life from the outside without emotion and tell you where you need to improve. So I want to thank you for watching this video. And if anything I've said to you has resonated with you, I openly invite you to apply for the next Fit Mum Method intake. I only take a few mamas on at the time, and I want to make sure that the mamas I do take on are ready to commit to a life-changing experience. If that sounds like you, I want you to click the apply here button below. It will take you to my calendar where you'll be able to fill out an application form and book in a consultation call. On the call, I'm going to get to know you a little bit better, and I'm going to get to know your own unique problems that we'll need to overcome together. I don't just allow anybody in my inner circle. You need to have the right attitude and have a realistic expectations from my help. You won't be asked to commit to the program on the first call. I don't want you to feel pressured into making a decision that you might regret later. So I'll make sure I'm going to give you all the information that you need to make the right decision, including the length of the program and the cost. Looking forward to seeing you on the other side of this application process.